What's happening, friends? Welcome to Unlocked episode 361. It's Xbox here at IGN. Every week, we've got the latest and greatest from the world of Xbox. This week, a new way to interact with your Xbox in the wake of the tragic passing of Kinect. Rest in peace. Also, THQ Nordic picking up a beloved intellectual property that you may remember from the Xbox 360 days. We'll talk more about that and a lot more. And in the meantime, a quick reminder, if you're not already joining us early every week, you've got that opportunity. 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern every Tuesday. You can get this show early, 24 hours early. In fact, if you come to unlocked.ign.com, otherwise it'll hit YouTube and all the podcast feeds on Wednesday afternoon. So keep that in mind moving forward. As I said, I'm Ryan McCaffrey. I've got Destin Legary to my right.
Hi, everybody.
Brandon Tyrell.
Hello.
Back from the almost
Back from the brink.
The con flu nearly claimed him.
The PAX plague got me real good.
Good to have Mark Medina here checking in as well.
Hello.
I feel I'm left out of this button-up group, this button-up collection we
Hi,
got
boys.
going on here. Well, that's one way to fix it, I guess. Anyway, good to see all you guys.
Yeah.
We've got plenty to talk about. As always, this is rarely a slow week, especially as we head into the fall season.
Yeah.
I hope everybody enjoyed the Ralph Fulton sit-in last week. He interviewed him for a while, and then he just hung out for the rest of the show, which was great. We've got Forza Horizon 4 coverage hitting IGN Wednesday at 12:01 a.m. Pacific. So basically, when you wake up on Wednesday morning, it'll be there for you. I had a chance to go over and play the first two hours of the campaign.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I'll be talking all about that.
That's awesome.
As I do on IGN. And then one other quick show note as well, related show note, cousin show. Want to remind everybody, IGN Unfiltered publishes every month. I sit down with a guest, a known person from the games industry, and this month it's Ted Price. Obviously, they've got
I know that
Spider-Man,
person.
yeah, not coming out on Xbox, but for you Xbox fans specifically, I talk a lot about Sunset Overdrive with him as well. So look for that. Actually, I guess by the time this show airs, it'll be up. The full episode will be up. So please check that out on IGN, YouTube, and or your podcast feeds. Let's keep it rolling, gents. We've got Alexa has invaded your Xbox.
Alexa,
Yeah.
Xbox on.
Yep. Yes,
We did it.
we did it.
Does anybody here use the functionality of Alexa with their Xbox?
I do
Well,
not-
let's tell
I mean,
them about
not
it.
yet.
Okay.
Shall we?
Yeah.
Per the Microsoft release. Now, Brandon, you and I we'll talk about this in a second.
It's a really odd timing.
I don't understand quite the branding here, the sort of branding within branding, but they're sort of calling this whole voice command system Xbox Skill.
Yeah, it's strange. I don't get the messaging on it. I get that, like, they have to call something. They have to have a name for the entire sphere, the entire
Right.
feature, right? Like, because it does support what is it? Alexa, Cortana,
but not Google, the Google Home Assistant
right?
yet.
Yeah,
Hopefully-
at least yet,
Yeah.
right? But the Harman Kardon Invoke, Sonos One, iOS and Android. So it's supporting a lot of hardware, and I get they need one name, but I don't know what Xbox Skill implies.
Well, here you go. With the Xbox Skill, you can use voice commands to power your Xbox One console, adjust volume, launch games and apps, start and stop broadcasts on Mixer, capture screenshots, and more. So effectively, that's everything you used to be able to. Well, you still can, but do with Kinect. I mean, everybody that's moved on to
Connect Voice, yeah.
Yeah, everybody that's moved on to an Xbox One S or X probably isn't using their Kinect anymore because there's no port for it, and they sold the adapters for
Like a minute.
about a minute, and at a criminally high price.
Yeah.
It was like $40 for the stupid adapter cable.
I'm curious what those are going for on eBay these days.
Yeah, if you've got one, you might be able to unload it now before everybody figures out that this voice command stuff
Yeah.
is out there. So Microsoft goes on to add, it's the fastest way to get into your games and one of the easiest ways to interact with your console for everyday tasks. For example, if you have the skill enabled on your Echo and you're a part of the Insider Preview, it's rolling out to the inner rings of the Insider Preview right now. It'll obviously move out to everybody over time. Just say, and I'll see if I screw over anybody out in the audience right now, Alexa, start Rocket League. And what's cool about that, even if the console's off, it'll actually turn it on and then launch the game. So I like that. I like that it's sort of retroactive. You don't have to do it step by step. You can just skip to step 2, and it'll take care of step 1 for you. The Xbox skill integrates with your Cortana. You already covered that stuff. So, and for the full list of commands, if you're in this, just say, Alexa, ask Xbox, what can I say? And it'll give you the full rundown.
Yeah, I'm really curious to try this. I am not part of the Insiders program, so I'll have to wait a little bit. But I am one of those guys that never thought that he would have a smart house, because like the government is watching and all that, But as I get older, I realize like anything you do on the internet is essentially putting you on the map. So,
I don't think the government or anyone else cares about what color party lights you have going on in your
Rocket League.
It's like I still shred my junk mail, just as an old habit.
Yeah,
but like there's more pressing information than that on the internet at the drop of a Google.
I saw something online kind of speaking about that I thought was really funny. It's like in the 80s, like, oh, your phone could be wiretapped. And now it's like, hey, wiretap, look up popcorn flavors. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah, but I have multiple Alexa dots throughout the house, and I have one major one, and it's cool. We use it to play Spotify. We use it to find out what the weather is, what time it is. We use it to do like rain sounds at night. So it's in my living room, and it's really cool that I don't have to like. If the controller's sitting on the Xbox, I don't have to walk to my TV, pick up the controller, and walk back to the couch. I can just sit down and just like turn it on, play or start Netflix.
Yeah, I wonder if this did start up during the Xbox One S and X development projects when they knew that they were going to be walking away from Kinect entirely. Because we've actually wanted this, we've talked about it on the podcast that we wanted this. Like, it'd be great to have. Something to just, a mic array to plug into the Xbox to do all the stuff that Kinect did.
Find popcorn seasoning or whatever. Yeah.
I haven't jumped on the like Alexa train yet, just because it was like when it first came out, it was like $80.
Yeah.
Like,
Alexa, buy Mark and Alexa.
And I was like,
well, everyone at home appreciates that.
I don't think it did anything.
It's like this episode.
They're just gonna show up at my house. I'm like, yes.
What was that episode of South Park where Cartman was like saying commands? Like, like Trey Parker and Matt Stone specifically did these horrible commands, like add this to our shopping list.
Yeah.
This reminds me of that.
But it's like, I think it was last year I saw you could get like a 4-pack of the dots for like $120.
Yeah.
And I was like, that kind of like makes me sort of want one, because it's like then I can put one in every room, and I didn't even know Alexa could do this. I'm really like, I don't know anything about Alexa. I didn't know that that they're all synced together. I guess I could have guessed since they sell them in 4-packs, and that you can be like, play music, and you can tell it to play music on all of them at the same time. And so that's kind of cool. I don't have the biggest house in the world, but like, if you're just home alone and you're like, I want to be able to, if you're cleaning basically, and you're like, you're going from the living room to the kitchen to the bathroom, and it's like, it's kind of cool to kind of always have one everywhere.
Meanwhile, in Medina Manor,
send one bedroom, San Francisco.
Alexa, send those bumping tunes to my downstairs study.
Exactly. Alexa, I'd like to hear Coldplay in the solarium.
I love it. So I'm wearing a robe all the time.
Yeah, just a smoking jacket. Let's be real. The thing I'll say about the Dot, and this is like not Xbox related at all, but
no, we're just reviewing Alexa products.
Yeah, the Dot speakers are not great, so like buy a stand-up one. But I also have a Dot in almost every room in the house just for that reason. It's like the sync sometimes falls in and out. So like when I say Alexa, resume music in this group, that all we call it group everywhere. Like 4 of them will play and 1 of them doesn't,
Yeah.
So it is hit or miss, but it's cool when I'm doing the dishes or vacuuming or something for that exact same reason.
Well, and so I was going to bring up the point that like I never used Kinect's controls like that.
They're great. Like they're really, I use them all the time.
It's just because it's like I've had it not work a couple of times.
Yeah.
And once it doesn't work sometimes, it was just like, I'm just never going to use it.
That's totally fair.
Like, and that was just kind of like my thing is like, you tell Alexa to order you something. The second you get a product you didn't intend to order, you're just like, I'm never doing that again.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just kind of how it was. I would be like, Xbox on.
It's
Xbox on, and you're just like, or I could just push the button on my controller and be there. And so that's why I've never like really jumped on board. Like I don't use Siri. The extent of Siri on my phone is Siri set a timer.
Oh,
like
really?
I don't would never be like, oh, I got work in the morning. Siri, set my alarm.
I use that. I use it for that all the time.
I feel like I would never trust that it actually said it, or Siri, buy movie tickets, or I don't use any of that.
Be like,
stuff.
Mark,
That's
true. It does.
Your
it does
6:30
say.
a.m. alarm is on.
That tells me you're a worrywart.
But guess what? Even if Siri said, I would still and make sure that the little alarm icon is there.
Yeah.
And so in my opinion, I might as well just kind of.
I mean, no, but you make a good point though.
It's a worry. A little worry boy.
That is totally fair. And I think what's cool about this is by integrating with Cortana, by integrating with Alexa, and hopefully, because the common reply on my Twitter thread about this was a lot of people looking for Google Home. Like, hopefully that's coming.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people use that. These APIs should be theoretically better than Kinect was because they're used by just so many millions of people that they're iterated on at a unbelievable rate compared to what Kinect had. The installed base and the what was going on with Kinect. I'm not knocking Kinect. I'm just saying.
I just love Microsoft's commitment to the dream is to be like, you know what? We're not going to sell Kinects anymore. It's too expensive. The adapters kind of suck. But here's an alternative.
Yeah,
it still exists.
And it's one of those things like if you were really hard up for voice recognition software in your house for your Xbox, like Alexa or Google Home or Cortana is probably a fairly attractive proposition for you. So now they're like, look, if you have this infrastructure in your house already set up, now you can use it with your Xbox. You don't have to buy a Kinect. And that was me. Like I owned a Kinect back when I rented a room in a house. So there wasn't much room in my bedroom. So that camera was always facing my bed.
Yeah.
And so I just put a Post-it over it and just use voice commands, So I'm really enjoying the fact that now there isn't a camera on in my living room.
Just to be the contrarian of the group, I have no interest in this tech whatsoever.
Get out.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'll just turn. All I would use it for is turning it on and turning it off.
Yeah.
And beyond that, the functionality isn't robust enough that I really need it in my life. I mean, I have a small, tiny San Francisco apartment. Yeah. I turn on the light switch when I come home, and I turn off when I go home.
The bulk
with your finger?
Yeah.
Like a peasant?
Like a heathen?
Do you know how many germs are on the average light switch?
Yeah. Alexa, light 50% in the foyer.
What I loved about the Kinect voice stuff, to your point, I get that it might actually be going more out of your way than the regular way on some things, but the controllers to save batteries shut off after 10, 15 minutes, I think it is. So my most frequent use of Kinect voice when I had the original Xbox One that had a Kinect port on it was for media controls and media playback. Like if I'd be watching something on Netflix, it'd just be, I'd use it to pause and play or volume up, volume down. Yep. When the remote's over there and the controller's turned off and setting, on the table next to the couch, it was great. That was quicker and easier. So I liked it a lot for that. But I like with this implementation now with Xbox Skill trademark, it's like I was saying, you can skip steps. You don't have to turn it on, and it's just, hey, launch this game, and it turns it on and launches that game. I think
because Alexa's always listening.
If it worked with my phone, and I could just be like Xbox pause, and my phone was over
it does work with your phone. There are free options.
That's the only way that
if you have an Amazon account, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
It's okay.
If you have an Amazon account on iOS or Android, you theoretically should have this functionality. I'm not guaranteeing it. Like you'll have to go in and set up some steps, but I believe you can pull out your phone and be like Xbox on.
Yeah.
Or Alexa, turn on the Xbox.
That's the only case I would use it. I'm not buying a bunch of Alexas for my apartment though.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, I was going to tell you this, but I bought my 4 dots on Prime Day or Black Friday or something. They're like, I think you can get them for like $30 a piece.
Yeah, that's
$25 a piece.
I bought one as a gift on Black Friday for $30.
Yeah. Not a bad deal.
Yeah.
If you use it, I mean, if not, it's kind of a gimmick, but
for the people who are going to use it, I think it's good. It's a positive thing, but for me personally, nah. I don't
Fair
know.
enough.
Yeah.
Well, here's what I want is I know
Not gonna buy it, Brandon. No, just kidding. I
He's
don't
up with
want
the
it.
sales pitch.
why won't you let Amazon love you? I know they're being introduced with a subset of voice commands and all that, but I would love for one day, and maybe it doesn't now. I haven't actually dug into it because I'm not part of the Inside program, but I would love for one day to be able to say like, Alexa, download all the games with gold, or
That'd be nice.
Alexa, download recently purchased or something. Like if it can start a download for me, when I don't have to be at home. I know you can do it remotely, but like it's little quality of life stuff like that, where I don't have to go turn on the Xbox, grab the controller, start a download, set it down, go do something else. I can just say it when I get home. Or
Xbox has been smart about offering these kind of options to their user base, and that's excellent.
It's quality of life.
Here's Mark Medina. Alexa, download that game. All right, I'm going to turn my TV on, make sure it's actually downloading. All right, good.
Mark, I don't trust smart devices to do what they're supposed to do.
You know what? I better check my order history just to make sure it didn't buy anything for me.
But yeah, I wonder if Xbox, Microsoft will just totally lean into this now and again, hopefully add the Google Home to it and just support this stuff moving forward. Like with Xbox Scarlett as next gen, I wonder if they'll just use this and say, hey, we've been fleshing that out with more commands. Scarlett works with that, just plug in something else.
Right.
Or if they might consider building a mic array into the box.
So I really like that idea. And I know some people are saying, well, why not put it in the controller, right? But I think you answered that. A device with an array that has the functionality to turn on the device needs to always be on, right? It has to have constant connection. You would run
battery life.
You would run through so many rechargeable or not rechargeable batteries to get that functionality. So I like that. The one thing I'm worried about is we saw this with the introduction of the Xbox One. All this new stuff, stuff that technically worries people, stuff that people are like unsure about. Like I don't want that in a console. It sounds very similar to what the Xbox One X is today. Is a lot of it was ported over from what they originally pitched for the Xbox One before they walked all that back.
Yeah. And
we saw the reaction to it, right? So I'm worried about with Scarlett saying, okay, and it comes with a mic that you can turn on or off to, make use of this voice integration. I can see people being a little worried about their device having a mic on it.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
Understanding that your phone has a mic on it, multiple devices that you already own have mics on them, but I can just see like the reaction to it, like my Xbox is going to be listening to me in the living room,
Well, you've now just with that you've convinced me now that it's not going to happen because I think the point you were
dancing around
a little bit, but is the Kinect thing of Xbox has been moving away from. They've been moving. Let me phrase it more optimistically this way. They've been moving towards laser focus on game playing abilities. Mm-hmm. The Xbox One X is super powerful silicon and nothing else. Yeah. No other gimmicks, or it's just that's all it is. Whereas the world freaked out at for various reasons at the original Xbox One. Mm-hmm. So yeah, maybe. They're just not going to include any extras or even potentially off-putting things, even though they'd have a lot of benefits too. And just say, forget it. If you want this, plug in an Alexa.
Yeah, I think so. Or like maybe, you'd have to sell an adapter or like some sort of like USB device that you plugged into it for $30 or less, because that's how much a dot costs essentially.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it would be such a cool piece of tech to have on there. But I think that they're very, very conscious of the fact that this could have backlash as far as like public opinion goes.
Yeah. Well, there you go. So if you are in the innermost Xbox insider circles, give it a try now and write us. unlocked@ign.com. I'd be curious to hear what you think of it.
Yeah.
Next up, THQ Nordic, or as I like to call them these days, Vulture Studios.
Got it. THQ Vulture.
They have acquired the rights to Kingdoms of Amalur. You may remember Kingdoms of Amalur: Reckoning. Xbox 360 release, which was extremely well received. IGN gave it a 9.0 back in the day. Over at OXM, I think we might have been 8 or 8.5 on that one back in the day.
All right.
Sorry, I'm playing the part of the internet.
Destin. Here's the original trailer for it if you're watching on video now.
It's bringing me back, man.
Yeah.
But no, I'm just poking a little fun at THQ. But because the reality is they have been gobbling up a lot of dormant or dead intellectual properties and franchises. But that's great. Like there's a chance for new life for a lot of these.
Especially because people really loved Kingdoms of Amalur.
Yes, this game in particular,
Yeah.
Brandon, you've got 70 hours into this, you said?
I mean, years and
least?
years and years ago, yeah. But I did put like 70, 80 hours into it, playing it as an RPG, right? Not as an action RPG like maybe a Darksiders 1. This what I loved about Kingdoms of Amalur was it was like a computer RPG, like those old heady, like real nerdy fantasy
Like
stuff.
OG BioWare.
Yeah, like there's an whole universe to it. There's a whole lore system and
I
mythos.
could be wrong, but wasn't it originally supposed to be an MMO?
No,
Or there's something there. Okay, go.
You got this. You
wanna do it?
No, you got this.
So,
it was
someone.
a two-parter essentially. It was a twofer, you might say.
It's Kurt Schilling's game studio, 38 studios, and they suffered a horrific fate that we've been over before.
Yeah, so that's a long, drawn-out story that deals with the state of Rhode Island, of all things. But so the Amalur thing, like they brought in Todd McFarlane to do the art. They brought in R.A. Salvatore, who is a prolific fantasy author. He actually just released a book last week, I think it was, called Timeless.
They sent us a copy for reasons I literally have no idea why.
It's fantasy. Yeah, it's like the Drizzo
To tease
saga.
Amalur.
Maybe.
You can
Yeah,
read
to
it
tease
at
this
any
news.
time. It'll be great.
Anyway, so they brought in all these heavy hitters and created a whole universe and created a whole world. And I believe what Amalur was, Reckoning was a sort of proof of concept of the world that they were working on, which they would then take and turn into something that they had codenamed as Project Copernicus.
The MMO.
Which would have been an MMO and basically flesh out everything. It was like R.A. Salvatore wrote just tomes of like backstory and world building and universe and lore. And then they made an action RPG game out of it, which I think is still one of the better ones that I've ever played in a fantasy setting because it did have that sort of pedigree to it. It wasn't just like a Darksiders 1 where it sets it up, but it's all very linear. You could really dig into it.
Yeah.
And then they were going to really flesh it out with that MMO afterwards, which obviously never saw the light of day.
The
because
combat looks pretty good
bankruptcy.
too. The gameplay is
It's
So Ryan brought up a good
I just
point about
remember it having like MMO-esque like things about it, like action bars and the way the minimap look. I remember it looking a lot like Guild Wars, and so it kind of like gave you that kind of feel.
Yeah, to me, it's and I mean this in the most complimentary of ways. It's the best Fable clone I've ever played. Like it's the way it's sort of structured, and I think it feels a lot like Fable in the sense of it's a third person, large scale but not MMO fantasy action role playing game with with a lot going on in it. And yeah, it was excellent at the time.
It was excellent. Yeah. And here's the thing is like, I almost take a little bit of disagreement with the Fable clone moniker because I feel like that is really just saying that it is. I understand where you're coming from, right? Like the areas were all kind of linear and they let like the forest, the enchanted forest was an arena essentially. It was a big ass,
exactly.
It was a big ass room that you could go into. And granted, it was a huge room, but it was still just a room, right? It wasn't like an open world,
right?
But what I do love about it is what
Take two and
that game.
What KOA did was just really lean on like old RPG, like old school RPG, pillars where they had multiple cities, like not just villages or towns, like where you go buy a bow and kick a chicken. They had cities where you go in and there were like a dozen shopkeepers to the point where I never finished the game because I got exhaustion from it. Like I would go somewhere and I'd be like, oh my God, this city is 6 levels deep and it's full of gnomes and dwarves and I'll come back later. And I unfortunately never did, but it is one of those games where I always regret not finishing it. And I think it had more breadth to it than something like Fable or even something like Darksiders 2, which is ostensibly sort of the same structure.
I mean, that's fair, but I think just as far as to give people sort of an idea of how it plays, I think the Fable comparison is reasonably fair.
Well, now we fight to the death.
Now it's on.
I do wonder if people saw that, like cartoony art style, action RPG, and then got into it and was like, wait, why am I reading about the pantheon of a world I've never heard of,
So, other stuff THQ Nordic has acquired,
and go.
You ready, guys? I mean, as a Twitter follower put it, maybe that rather than THQ Vulture, it should be like Phoenix, THQ Phoenix,
I like that.
Phoenix Studios, rising from the
Lazarus.
ashes. Yes. So they've they've got Red Faction back under their banner, as it was under the original THQ. Saints Row, Time Splitters,
The big one from last month. Yeah.
Homefront, Dead Island, Darksiders, which you just mentioned, Brandon, Destroy All Humans, among others. Those are kind of the headliners right there. But that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 7 now, and now 8 with Amalur. That's 8
and this
pretty previously successful, well-liked IPs.
Possible remaster.
Remasters or I mean, look at
Because it's like
Darksiders,
we
right?
got Red Faction, which got remastered. The remastered.
Get it? Because Mars.
Saints Row 4 has a remaster, and now Saints Row 3.
Wait, what?
Well, Saints Row 4, I'm sorry, got ported to PS4.
Oh,
it was originally a 360 PS3 game. But then now Saints Row 3 is coming to Switch in a
That's
form
true.
of a remaster.
The best Saints Row by far.
It is.
By far.
We're getting another Darksiders.
And before that, they got remastered.
That's true.
And then another Darksiders.
Definitive Edition.
Definitive edition.
Definitive. Yeah. It goes without, or it should actually be noted that this is a mixture of like buying specific IPs and then buying media companies, right? Like they bought Koch Media, KOCH,
Yes.
which owns Deep Silver, which, has Darksiders and, I'm sorry, not Darksiders.
Dead Island.
Dead Island and Saints Row and
Red Faction.
Red Faction. So like they're purchasing both companies and IP, and I think that's really good. Do you remember when this whole thing went down? When they went bankrupt, essentially?
Oh, yeah.
And then like they were auctioning off.
Yeah, the properties were all individually auctioned off. That's how. So Evolve, I know nobody likes to remember Evolve particularly fondly, but just it started as THQ was originally the publisher behind that, and fairly early on, that THQ went under and 2K bought it.
Yeah.
2K also bought WWE.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
So
right.
yeah, everything went to various new owners.
So it's great to see them being like from the mess that was like 2 years ago now, 3 years ago.
Oh, way more. But anyway,
that was 15.
That's not the point. Go ahead.
It's nice. Long story short, it's nice to see like some of these games, like Time Splitters, which has a huge following, like potentially get a second life. Darksiders 3, would it have happened without THQ stepping in? I don't know.
Probably not.
Well, maybe someone else.
And I feel like
steps
they're
in.
possibly just testing the waters with the remasters. Like maybe the
For sure.
definitive edition did well enough to warrant like, hey, let's do Darksiders 3, and then maybe remastered edition will do good enough to get another Red Faction. And
But they're not just doing what Capcom was doing a number of years ago, which is just remastering all their stuff.
Well, they just remaster all the Mega Man X games.
Oh, yeah.
They still do that.
And
but
well,
they're
now Resident
also-
Evil as well. Capcom at one point years ago put out a quote that said like, "Hey, if people keep buying them, we're just going to remaster our entire catalog." I remember you were particularly animated.
It just because their output on 360 was so great.
Yeah.
Lost Planet, Dead Rising, Resident Evil 5. There's just one or two other big ones.
Fighter.
Street Fighter 4. They brought Street Fighter back in such a big way, and like they were, I thought, one of the most impressive third-party publishers.
And Resident Evil 6 and Resident Evil
last
7.
generation, and I think they've been largely. Thankfully, it's now seems to be changing, but in probably the early part of this generation, they were one of the least impressive publishers.
Yeah, I agree.
From a creativity standpoint.
Things are turning around for them, but anyway.
There is a wrinkle to this Amalur acquisition by THQ Nordic. A THQ Nordic representative told Eurogamer, quote, EA still has the publishing rights to Reckoning specifically. So new games shouldn't be a problem. But Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning, the game that Brandon has 70 plus hours into, I guess if they did want to remaster it,
they'd have to make some deals.
they would have to cut EA in on it.
Yeah.
And it probably also means, as far as backward compatibility goes, that would require. Now, I don't actually know. I mean, to the best of my knowledge, having gone up and done that whole feature story last year on the backwards compatibility team.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think money changes hands. They didn't imply that or state it in any way to me. It's just something they do it. Microsoft handles it, and then the publisher signs off. For all I know, there could still be some money changing hands. I kind of figure no, because
I didn't think there was.
if Microsoft does the backwards compatibility work, no money changes hands, but then the game goes back up for sale digitally, then the publisher stands to benefit anyway.
Yeah.
I got to figure an Amalur backwards compatibility situation would require an EA sign off.
I imagine so. At this point, though, like, what do they have to lose?
Exactly.
Like, if THQ says, "Hey, we want to remaster this," here's 5% royalties or whatever. Like, it seemed like a win-win-win for everyone.
Yeah.
Triple win.
A triple win.
Dang.
Yeah.
The old triple win scenario.
THQ, EA, and us. Thank you. I did not expect that to land as flat as it did. All right.
Brandon, you dug up a quote from last year here.
Yeah.
From a THQ Nordic executive.
Just sort of elaborating on the strategy of acquiring intellectual properties, right? And that is to say this isn't their game plan now. They don't just like patent trolls where they swoop up things and like make their money off that. They actually are developing, they are purchasing studios and working on active development of games that are new, like Biomutant from Experiment 101.
Yeah, that thing looks cool.
Is a THQ joint. But that's right, in industry with game industry .biz, excuse me, Reinhard Paulus, I want to say is his name. He spoke to, this whole strategy and stated that the big challenge is when you have so many IPs, you need to pay respect to all of them, to the good and known ones. You might think that there's 3 or 4 properties, but in reality, it's more like 15 to 20. And he says that's a lot to take care of. And our approach to this is not just doing something with them, but doing the right thing. That takes time. That's why we're sometimes slow and not announcing, say, the next Destroy All Humans right away. We need to think about the place that the IP is in today or has in today's gaming world, what the right next step is with it, and what the fans want. And once they're comfortable with that, then they go ahead and do it. So it sounds it sounds like they don't just buy something and say like, "Hey, throw it on the Xbox."
They're saying the right things for sure.
Mm-hmm. They take it, they vet it, they see what it is, and I imagine that process happens before they purchase it.
So the next question for this panel is. This is all well and good. It'd be great to see Kingdoms of Amalur live on. Who do you get to do it? Because the original development team long since dissolved, and the 38 studios crumbled a long time ago now.
BioWare.
So you got to look at either somebody that THQ Nordic already owns, or somebody that is available, on the free agent market, effectively, an independent developer that you can get to do this.
I mean, it's right off the top of my head, like Biomutant's out next year. Experiment 101 has, obvious I'm sorry,
open world chops.
My words are leaving me. They have experience with the cartoony, colorful, open world, third person aesthetic. So.
That was the first thing that came to my mind.
Really?
It was right, that maybe a second project for them after Biomutant wraps up.
I don't know what size their team is. I don't know how many games they've got in the world.
Well, it depends on what it is that they would intend on making. Is it just a remaster,
or up-res,
or if because that could essentially be easier than like, hey, we're not remaking, but like making a sequel or making just rebooting the franchise basically.
State of Decay.
It's weird to say we're
dead, right?
It's only.
Pardon me?
State of Decay.
Undead Labs?
Undead Labs. Yeah. That could be an interesting partnership, but I'm sure
then you get
something else.
Then you'd have to publish it exclusively on Microsoft consoles.
That'd be great.
So that'd be great for Xbox owners, but it's maybe not what THQ would be looking for on the in the portfolio.
I don't remember if Amalur had any sort of console timing window associated. I imagine it was 360 and PS3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And PC,
I'm sure.
Fantasy games always came to PC.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what, if anything, becomes of this.
I'm really excited. I'd like to hear what EA thinks.
That's why I was making all the EA jokes, BioWare, DICE, because like if they have this partnership, like maybe one of those guys could help out with like a small side project to remaster it. But if they're just publishing, they would probably have somebody else do it. And
I think.
But
that's
if they have
how it
that
would
partnership, like if they're sort of almost forced in that partnership with that
just with the original
game
though, not with anything new.
But good things. I'm just saying, good things might be able to come of it.
Yeah, it would certainly
be positive.
I kind of want to go back and play it now.
Like I kind of want to play it too.
I know my memories. My memories of it are going to be way better than.
Does your save game still exist?
Here's the thing: is I had by the end of that generation, I had 4 360s. So I don't remember which one it was on. I think it was my Elite, the black one.
Yep.
But we'll see. I owned an arcade, then upgraded to Pro, and then 2 years later, I upgraded to Elite, and then I picked up a 4th one. So I don't know which one it's on, but I could find it.
Well, if you find it, you can bring it in, and we could do a Let's Play video on the Unlocked YouTube channel.
I'll look at it. It's probably in my basement somewhere.
Backwards compatible or anything?
I don't know. I don't think so.
doubt it.
I mean, no, I don't think it is, but I imagine I could still boot it up on a 360.
Yeah.
We find it if we find a TV with the inputs,
That's true.
AV inputs.
I need the composite cable.
Yeah, the composites. Oof.
Now the later 360s had HDMI.
Yeah, you had the component cables that did
fine.
I think
720.
I think only
They
one
had
model of 360 didn't have HDMI.
I think it was the original.
The original.
like
The
cheapest version.
the original arcade.
Yeah, well, because I bought a white 360 before the Elites or anything with it were out, and mine had an HDMI port. And then my brother-in-law he also went and bought a white 360, and for some reason his just didn't.
Yeah, it
And
was
I
the-
like, oh,
it was
you
the
must have
arcade.
been,
It was
a
like,
motherboard
an original
revision.
line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of them didn't even come with a hard drive, right?
That was the arcade.
Yeah, that was
the
the
arcade.
in the
yeah.
very beginning. Yeah.
Arcade's like, hey, you just want to play some games? Here you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which for the life of me, I can't even think about how that worked at the time.
It's so crazy.
Well,
to
they
think
sold
about,
memory
like, yeah.
cards.
that's
originally.
what it was, right?
64
Oh,
meg
yeah.
memory
Little-
cards.
That's what it was.
Yeah, and originally there were, and then they went up. There were eventually 256 meg memory
I
cards.
remember the white Xbox 360 had the little memory card ports, and like I've never used one.
Yeah.
I think I did
Never
it.
did.
I think I did.
Some faceplates.
Hey,
Still a good idea. Just didn't. They were,
One time I dropped my Xbox, like, I don't know, not even a foot, but I was like, I put it down and kind of stumbled. My faceplate just flew off.
Yeah.
Did it break? Like, did the clips break?
No, I snapped it back on there.
Oh no, it's broken. Oh, it's fine.
my favorite
own a
faceplate. I could go get it at my desk, but it's
The IGN one? 'Cause
No.
you're a company man.
oh hell no, not that. No, my favorite faceplate was one I got before I even got the console. So at E3 2005.
Oh, yeah. You were in the industry when this
Yeah,
thing launched.
I'm old. Remember? No, they handed out. There was a run of 5,000 E3 special edition faceplates,
That's cool.
and it was a nice, like, fairly minimalist design, and it had a chrome power button. Whereas the regular 360s,
Is white.
and then most of especially the official faceplates didn't. So this Chrome one just had, and this sounds super stupid, but whatever. This is an Xbox podcast. That's what it's for.
Yeah.
It had like a really nice feel to it, like a click feel to it.
So clicky. So
Yeah.
satisfying.
Hey,
No,
you mock
Ryan's-
me.
Seriously.
I know what Ryan's talking
No,
about.
knows what I'm talking
good,
about.
good feedback in buttons is like
Yeah.
Yeah.
primo.
And it's funny because they must have like
I'm gonna go get it. You guys
they,
keep it.
they themselves must have liked it, because then when the Xbox 360 Slims and then the even slimmer version, they all have Chrome. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
the
it's-
eject,
that's
the,
right, the
the
newer
ejector
it's like
buttons.
are
a
that.
capacitive touch
Yeah.
now instead of a physical button, but they were all Chrome.
Yeah.
Did you guys customize your faceplates or no?
No.
Like for real?
I don't customize like anything when it comes to like there's a few people in the office that bought the Spider-Man PS4,
Oh,
and I'm like, Spider-Man's great. That PS4 is atrocious looking. Like, and I think that about most custom consoles. To be honest, I'm not just saying that because you're sitting right here, but one of my the only custom console I liked was the Taken King PS4.
Oh, was it the white one?
Because it was white.
Yeah.
And the Destiny 2
Yeah.
PS4, because the PS4
Yeah.
Pro, because
Yeah.
that one's white. And for some reason,
it
the
looked- it
white
was subtle.
just looks so shiny.
So
It's
I felt the
he's
same.
back.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
it's not autofocus. You got to go to the desk. Yeah.
Just hit Control Plus on your browser. It'll like zoom in.
Back. Yeah, this one's been
That's
sitting
right.
on my. So this is an unopened one.
Oh my God.
I had an open one obviously that I used. This is number 4,910 of 5,000.
You can hold it up
This
on the one.
sheathing has gotten yellowed, from gross lighting that's killing us all over time. But the inside is I don't know
I'm
how well
becoming
you
yellow
can
over time.
see it.
Podcast got
You can
dark.
see it
But
pretty.
yeah, it's got the concentric rings, E305, and then just that nice sweet chrome power button right there. It says E305 limited edition, and then right on the packaging, but not on the actual faceplate, it says, "If you could look into the future, what would you see?"
Oh my God.
And the answer
what
is-
a question now.
Wow.
The answer is E3 2013. No.
Stop.
This
Don't.
was a really great faceplate.
I'm going to look it up on eBay.
Was it? Oh God, man.
There's probably too many of them, honestly, for them to be worth anything.
$5,000? I don't know. Or 5,000?
5,000 like 13
fact,
years ago.
I don't know where my opened one is.
$100, Ryan.
Really?
Oh wait, here's one for 15.
Oh, here's one for
It's been
15.
open, though. It's been open.
It's been open.
Sorry.
Yeah, what a sealed in box.
This is that primo mint
Sealed.
condition,
Here's
Kinda
one
yellow
for
like a Super Nintendo.
$325.
limited run.
The Face of the Future, a numbered edition of 5,000, created for E3, May 16th, 2005. Anyway.
Sweet.
Forgot how we got here. But
I never owned a customized faceplate.
The answer is no.
All right. So if you have sold one for 100, one for 15 that was open, 50, 100.
So if you're looking to get rich,
no, I'm
For
I'm
hardcore
something
First of all,
Xbox
to clarify, IGN's ethics policy says I will never sell
Oh
it.
yeah,
This
yeah.
will. I mean,
That's
it is
true.
actually mine. I guess I'd have to leave the
you're
company
fine.
if I wanted to sell it.
Yeah.
And that's really not worth the trade-off.
Yeah.
So I think it'll just stay.
That's
here.
technically the way it works here. Is like if we're gifted things, they belong to the company, not us. If we ever leave the company, they remain in the office.
So speaking of
My PlayStation account.
cool Xbox tchotchkes, I wanted to mention one other thing before we wrap up with a big game release date. But I wish I had one here to show you, but it's the Xbox Australia marketing and PR team. They have done it again, my friends.
Oh God!
I don't know if you've seen Lucy O'Brien's Twitter feed, our senior editor who works out of our Sydney office. She tweeted a couple videos of this thing. So the Xbox Australia marketing team created in the way that, first of all, let me give you their backstory. They've previously made a giant, amazing Xbox One pool float.
Yes, that thing is awesome.
And then their seeming peak creation was an Xbox onesie, which is exactly what you think it is.
Nailed it.
No, they've topped themselves. They've created a special edition Xbox One controller. They've only made like, I think 50 of them or something.
Oh really?
There's not that many. That'll probably be worth more money on eBay, but not that we'd be selling any. But a grease-proof controller in celebration
Finally.
of PUBG's 1.0 release on Xbox. The tie-in there being, of course, the chicken dinners. Eat your chicken dinner. You got greasy fingers. It doesn't matter. This is a grease-proof controller.
First of all,
And yeah.
like, God, as much as I hate to admit it, kudos to whoever thought of this in the marketing department, because that's really good.
It's
so
got
you
a
can
coating on
you
it.
can eat your chicken dinner and not get your controller
does it
greasy.
not stick, though?
I imagine it's that same coating they put at the bottom of like public pools, where it's just like a little grippy, right? So much so that it, like, after a couple hours it starts to like wear on your feet.
I was gonna say, like, are your fingers turning red, like rubbing up against this thing?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's
Now,
go-
like, I'm
It's acid.
I don't know.
The
I'm just-
controller's acid.
it's just got a really high pH. Like, that's it.
like, I kind of get it. Like, I'm kind of weird about, like, I don't know.
Touching things.
Well, about like, so like your controller, right? It can go wrong so fast. Like,
Wait, what?
I just mean
Hold on.
as far
There's a
as-
lot to unpack there.
No, there's not. There's not. So when I had my iPhone 6, I don't know what it was, something on my fingers, some chips or whatever, and I pushed the home button, and that was it. The entire lifespan of that phone, the home button felt weird.
Oh, like
because
stuck.
stuff had gotten on.
Oh, yeah.
right.
Yeah.
It's just from that, and the same has happened with
jelly?
controllers too. Whereas, like, you know, they get greasy and your joysticks wear down, and so I'm kind of weird about like if I touch my hair or something like that, I'm like, I gotta go wash, you know, before I am gonna play a game. So it's like, but this does not
Dude,
like.
smart.
This does not make me. I don't want this.
Well,
I'm a trash monster, so this is excellent for me.
just
I
gonna
eat
be-
whatever, and then I go back to playing.
I feel like this is dangerous for you though, because it's going to send you in the opposite direction. You're just going to be
now
like,
I can
no, it's fine. I got the
smash
grease-proof
direct-
controller, and you're just like mainlining fistfuls of Cheetos into your mouth, and just like your controller has this weird orange crust to it. Like, oh, but
guys, it's grease proof.
Still
You're like,
grip
it's
it.
disgusting.
no, it needs to be washed. No, it's fine. Trust me.
So Lucy said on Twitter, in all caps, and I quote, "It feels really weird." And then they put up a video of them all sort of wiping various grease on it from different
Great.
foods.
What happens?
It's I guess it works fine. I
right.
suppose.
This is the thing. Is like I want to know the science behind this. Like, tell me what happened.
It's on IGN.com if you want to read
It
about
absorbs it and gets stronger.
This is like the opposite
You're
of like
better
some
at games, the more
Wii or
grease.
Switch controllers we had or something like that. They were shaped like chicken bones or something, or they
Oh,
were
yeah.
shaped like
Yeah.
chicken bread drumsticks or whatever.
Yeah.
And like when you held them, they were clean, but when you put them down, you still feel like you had grease on your hands.
Yeah, it was that weird. It was that weird
You were
rubber,
just like,
that weird rubber
oh.
foam. There's an amazing video, and I think it's on IGN.com, but it's from like 3.5 years ago. Brian Albert and Mitch Dyer were playing Dota using those chicken drumsticks as controllers, and one of them, I think they were playing Zeus, and they popped an ult and killed like 3 other players on the other team with these chicken drumsticks, and you should have seen them explode. They were so pleased with themselves. It is a hilarious video. Go check it out if you
right.
can. I think it might still be up.
Well, good stuff.
I'm
And
taking
yeah,
it down. I'm just kidding.
It's not for long.
If you're hearing
finally
this.
this week for fighting game fans, we finally got a game that's out in February that's not out on February 22nd. Dead or Alive 6 will be out the week prior, February 15th. So sneaking in before that February 22nd onslaught begins.
It's a pretty apt title for that release window.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Time will tell. So, yeah, we actually revealed Dead or Alive 6 back right before E3.
Yeah.
And, yep, I mean, I'm not a fighting game guy. I know.
I've heard they're doing some interesting things with it, like making it more mechanics heavy.
Yes.
Yeah, to like kind of bring back the fighting game fans. Like, hey, there's actually some depth here.
It's not just shtick.
To not make Dead or Alive basically a joke.
Yeah, exactly. Because it kind of became that in some circles.
Well, once
And-
beach volleyball came out, like that was it.
Exactly. So they're trying to kind of rein that all in, and they've worked with a lot of prolific designers.
How
to
quickly
improve it.
would. So there were two Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball games.
Yes.
How quickly, like, talking about a sign of the times, in 2018, do you know how fast that game would get killed internally before it ever, like, it would get pitched and immediately just, like, no.
Well, I
no,
mean,
we're not doing that.
This was a trend. Look at Soul Calibur, right? Like every year or every new release of Soul Calibur, like cup sizes would go up and leotards would get skimpier, and then it kept.
That's another thing.
It kept like it was a race to the bottom, and it's now finally started to
And
pull
yeah,
back
that
out.
is actually reflected. That's one of the things. Remember,
If you look at the female fighters, they're actually wearing
Clothes?
garb that-
They're just
They're wearing
they're
clothes.
just characters.
yeah, they're
just-
using garb that
Yeah,
a
they're-
fighter would actually.
It's
use.
not half a lycra catsuit.
they're
Yeah.
definitively, by, or at least by the quotes from Tecmo Koei themselves, the characters are a lot less. I won't say entirely, but they're less sexualized.
Fan servicey.
than in previous iterations of the game. But yeah, so if you are a Dead or Alive fan, February 15th is the date to mark on your calendar, 2019. All right. Hey, Brandon, is there
Hey.
anything that I can spend money on my Xbox this week?
Probably. Well, we should go check. Yeah, of
Oh,
course.
yeah, that's your
Yeah.
job.
There's a big whole list of it, and it starts right now. Starting today, you can get. I'm sorry, not today. Starting tomorrow, September 11th, Tuesday, you can get Super Street the Game. It's an arcade racing game. The following day, Wednesday, September 12th, Construction Simulator 2 Console Edition, where you can build your own construction company and drive some sweet vehicles.
Finally.
Like, as a for real, or is like is this like a
Yeah, seriously, it's like a
like a
business
mob
101
minigame, or
class.
like
Yeah.
a front. You're building a front.
You buy this and it just enrolls
to
you in a
launder money.
JC business course. No, you can drive cool vehicles like from Caterpillar, Leopard, Palfinger, Bell, Steel, Atlas, Mack Truck, all the heavy hitters of the construction vehicle.
I joke, but again, these simulator games are.
Dude, I know.
They have huge fan bases.
There's
that
a
are
reason they have
extremely
like
dedicated.
12 Euro Truck simulators.
Yeah.
Farm Simulator is like enormous. People love those games.
Yeah, and great trailers for that too on YouTube. September 12th on Wednesday, again, Adios Amigos is an astrophysics with a comic setting. Astrophysics game with a comic setting. Same day, you can get Revenant Dogma, which is a fantasy RPG.
That's also the name of my 90s alternative band.
Revenant
Started in
Dogma?
high school, yeah.
Super cool.
I love like the one-off like comments that are coming out of this segment every week. It's really good. Wednesday, September 12th, you can get Fossil Hunters, which is a casual action adventure game about digging up fossils and building your own dinosaur. Again, Wednesday, September 12th, you can get Time Carnage, which is a frantic survival wave shooter with weapon charging reload system.
That is a 90s title if I've ever heard.
Time Carnage, yeah. The following day, September 14th, I'm sorry, 2 days after, September 14th, you can get Shadow of the Tomb Raider, little game from...
Oh, yeah, that little indie title.
Little game from Eidos and Crystal. So that same day, a lot of competition here. You can get Fishing Sim World in early access. It's the most authentic fishing simulator ever made.
You'd like to help the developers hone and fine-tune this game, participate in the early access.
That's right, or play Shadow.
The fishing, the best physics on at the depths of 20 meters are not quite up to par.
Well, it does feature 7 different locations, 18 different species of fish, and hundreds of items of equipment to use. Also features live tournaments and 4-player multiplayer.
That's actually, honestly, that's super cool.
Yeah, that is
That
cool.
really is. Like the
Quite the
extent
game.
of the detail, that's really great.
Okay, if you pre-order Fishing Sim World, you can start playing Friday, September 14th. It's available for everyone on Tuesday, September 18th. September 14th, also, you can get Neon Wall, which is a neon-esque world of puzzle solving and overcoming obstacles.
Read the description.
Yeah. Travel through a world of neon solving puzzles and overcoming obstacles. Neon Wall.
Never mind.
What? That's a different neon level.
Oh, okay.
September 14th, you can get EA Sports NHL 19. We all know what hockey is.
What is hockey?
September.
This one,
It's like the philosophical question. What is hockey?
well, first of all,
Alexa,
like,
what is hockey?
Is this hockey?
Is this
EA's NHL series has like it's had its ups and downs, but it's quietly like I don't think there's a sport, in my opinion, I don't think there's a real life major professional sport that translates better to being a video game than hockey.
Yeah.
Like hockey is such a fun video game, and I believe, if I remember correctly, this is the first one where they're doing the thing that the NBA games have been doing for the last few years, having legends and like Gretzky and Orr and Lemieux in there.
Cool.
Compete with and against over 200 of the greatest hockey legends, including Wayne Gretzky, all powered by the cutting-edge
and
gameplay technology.
199 others.
Who was the guy that always assisted Gretzky? What was his name?
Chelios.
Mark Messier.
Maybe. All powered by the cutting-edge gameplay technology of Real Player Motion Tech with explosive edge skating and faster acceleration. So EA Hockey, NHL 19.
I'm sure that we've got a review in the works for that one.
I would be surprised if we didn't.
Like hockey.
Yeah, it's
Canadian.
fun.
You're Canadian.
Kind of seriously, it's just on everywhere, and it's kind of fun to watch.
It's great.
You're in line. You're in
I'll
line
tell
at
you,
Tim Hortons, and
If
it's
you've
just-
never
Exactly.
if you've never gone to a hockey game live, it is an incredible sport to attend in person.
Yeah.
Here's the thing:
Really
is
great.
I lived in San Jose for a number of
Sharks,
years.
man.
I was 5 blocks away from the Shark Tank and never went to a hockey game ever. And everyone always tells me it's like the funnest, the most,
Especially in the playoffs.
the most fun
Playoff
live
hockey.
experience.
They had a
Yeah.
good season a few years ago.
Well, like San Jose was consistently in the playoffs and then always got knocked out.
Yeah, that was-
And so there was a number of years there for a while where you can get like cheap tickets, like just going to the Shark Tank and watching playoff hockey. Bummed I never did. September 14th, you can also get Raised, which is a running game where you sprint through dynamic neon levels in the quickest time possible.
Neon again.
Yeah, there's a lot of neon.
Back.
September 14th as well. Nefarious is a 2D action platformer where you get to be the villain, which sounds right up my alley. And then finally, September 14th, Goner, Gonner, Goner, is a tough as hell procedurally generated 2D platformer with roguelike elements.
Tomb Raider, by the way, and speaking of Lucy O'Brien, 9.0 on IGN.com. Her review, I read it. I was already looking forward to Shadow of the Tomb Raider because, again, I've said this many times before. Rise of the Tomb Raider was my game of the year for 2015.
Yep.
So I was looking forward to Shadow, but her review, I was like, oh God, I gotta play. I want to start playing it right now.
Luce has a way with words, man.
She does.
She's really good at it. Really good at her job.
Yes, indeed.
So that is it. Those are all the game releases you can get this
And what about on Marketplace? Anything going on over there? Like else elsewhere?
Well, funny you should ask, because on the marketplace, the blackout beta for Call of Duty 4 Call of Duty Black Ops 4 is running from September 14th to September 17th with a playable demo of Mega Man 11 on there as well.
Yeah, we streamed Blackout today, and it looks good, man.
It-
Bobby and
I-
Stev were having a blast.
Blackout looks
and-
dope.
I was so surprised. I honestly did not give it the credit it deserved, but I was watching them play, and I was like, okay.
Yep.
It went
wanted to
live
try
about
it.
9, and I've been watching it. Basically, I've just had it up on a screen, and I'm just like, I kind of want to try this tonight.
I was like, it's Call of Duty. I don't know if they're going to be able to pull it off. Then we actually see gameplay for the first time. I'm like, oh, it works.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. I talked to Bobby right after their stream, and he told me, like, I was just like, oh, so what do you think of Blackout? And he goes, one among the things he said was, it's felt like PUBG only more polished. Like, and he meant that in a very complimentary way. So it's like, man, if they're on their first shot, they're already at that level.
it's
That's
Shout
cool,
out to
'cause
Bobby for the helicopter crash. Just
they're taking like all of these old maps, and there's like Nuketown's in there, and there's just other
really?
maps from like Block. Yeah, it's
Nuketown
like,
Island.
It's like a culmination of
all their heavy hitters.
older maps.
Crash is like
kind of
somewhere.
put together there. I saw they were having a little bit of server issues, but that's
It's a
like
beta.
it was literally out. I think an hour and a half at that point.
to be expected.
And that was on PS4. The beta will have been out for 4 days by the time it comes here, so it's like it should be pretty ironed out
so-
by then. I definitely recommend jumping in. It looks really cool.
It doesn't hit Xbox One until September 14th. So that's this Friday. It's
Friday.
It's already
Then you
up
get to
on-
play it all weekend.
Yep.
Yeah, 14th through 17th, and if that's not really your speed and you're more into some platforming games, you got a playable demo of Mega Man 11.
which has been getting some good feedback so far as well.
It's hard.
Which is what Mega Man fans want.
It's hard.
what, Mega Man 11?
Yeah.
I'm an X fan. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, it's the right show for you.
Like as in a former fan. No, I know what you're saying.
No, I like X1.
I didn't even put that together. Oh God, it's been a long day.
I'm also a Mega Man X fan.
Yeah.
Games with Gold for September. You can get Prison Architect from September 1st through September 30th on the Xbox One.
I thought the next one said livestock, and I'm like, that sounds
You,
really
you can
boring.
get livestock, cows, sheep, whatever.
We're talking about weird simulators. So
Oh God,
what?
livestock simulator. It's
hurdle
just
cow.
nothing but like cows going through chutes the entire game.
It's an RTS.
Life finds a way.
No, it's not livestock. Instead, it's Live Lock from September 16th through October 15th on Xbox One. So that's next week. You can grab that.
Isn't there some?
What would the more powerful cows be?
Bulls,
Sorry, I'm wrapped up in this now.
bison, water buffalo, oxen. I'm trying to think of bovines here.
Got you, Destiny.
Yaks, wildebeest, Lego Star Wars 3.
Woolly mammoths are
There you go.
one
That's the final upgrade. Lego Star Wars 3: The Clone Wars from September 1st to September 15th on X1 and X360. So you can get that right now. And then next week you can get Sega Vintage Collection Monster World from the 16th through the 30th of September on the One and the 360. So you can pick up Prison Architect right now if you want that, which I hear good things.
Fantastic. All right, let's do a quick trivia question before we head out the door. We've got the Ghost of Alana clinging to a 1-point lead. Brandon, who's back here,
What's his question?
1 point behind. So you've got a few months to get yourself together.
Get
Miranda,
yourself a point.
To get myself
who
at the
was,
office.
occupied on another shoot today at 7 points. We'll hopefully get her back in here and try to fool her into winning next week because she seems bent on losing.
I don't like this shoot the moon strategy that she's employing right now.
To each their own,
Yeah.
So, Destin, newly returned to the show at 2 points.
I'm not doing
You're
great.
playing for respectability, I think, at this point,
Yeah.
barring a crazy win streak.
It's like you crash in the final turn of the tour and like you're just walking your bike across the line right now.
Today's the day when the streak starts.
Here we go.
how many
you're gonna get
points
hot?
do I have? Am I
Mark
not even on the
Medina,
board?
we got 1 point.
Oh,
on
okay.
the
So
board.
I can beat Destin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's do this.
Let's do it. So,
Mark.
A respectable third.
Or
an
tie.
unlocked fan who goes by the Twitter handle of @SuperShark asks, which of the following games does not have a Bigfoot hidden within it? Does not. Ghost Recon Wildlands, Tiger Woods PGA Tour 2004, America's Army, or Far Cry 5. So three of those have a Bigfoot hiding in it.
Mm-hmm.
Which one doesn't?
Please write in your answer.
I'm going to go Destin's way first.
B, Tiger Woods.
Going with Tigray.
Why don't you
Ryan's
go,
put
Mark?
my score down already.
I
Good job, Ryan.
I believe I know. I believe I know this one. So why don't you go?
Mark?
All right, here we go. This is a thought process, like always.
Walk us through it. Walk us through it. Yeah, think it out
It's
loud.
like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? You're just
Think,
walking us through your thought process here.
I think Tiger Woods is the most likely to have one because it's silly DLC. I'm surprised. I would bet that Bigfoot is a playable character in that game.
It's driving like meter is all the way up.
Bear in mind,
But it's Bigfoot short game, not great.
Mark Medina's much of his job here involves just seeing every Easter egg in every game, so he knows
Fair.
how developers
Played it.
think.
He didn't work here in
When it comes to
2004,
Easter
though.
Yeah, not in 2004. Still in high school. Ghost Recon Wildlands. I don't know. I feel like it could. I feel like that and Far Cry, both Ubisoft. I feel like they. Actually, no. Here we go.
Here we go.
Ghost Recon Wildlands. That's
Okay.
the one without it.
All right,
Now, do you want me to explain this or just give you my guess?
it's up to you, man. The floor is yours.
You said you know it.
I'm pretty sure I do.
Okay.
I know for a fact there is a Bigfoot in Far Cry 5. I know for 90%, 99% there's a Bigfoot in Ghost Recon Wildlands because it is a mission in the Bolivian jungle. I actually know that there's a Bigfoot in Tiger Woods PGA Tour 2004 because I did a feature on the weirdest Easter eggs and references in games. So my answer is C, America's Army.
All right. Well,
Brandon got it.
I don't know.
no, the Lord Mark Medina.
Oh, no!
So
Okay.
super sure. Oh, do you got this? You got this?
Well, here was the theory. So I'm right. Yeah.
You're right.
It's Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Oh,
It
my
is.
God. I was 1%.
Okay, so here's the thought process, right? I was pretty sure Tiger Woods is probably going to have something, right? Far Cry 5, just silly enough. Far Cry 5 and Ghost Recon, both Ubisoft games. They're not going to put Bigfoot in two of their
What are you
games.
talking about? They'll put
Bigfoot in
in
Ghost
and-
Recon
Obviously,
Wildlands.
They didn't.
All right,
because
Destin,
I was
can
right.
you-
No, hold on. The listener explain. So it's the mission is to find Bigfoot, but it's not. It's just a guy in a ghillie suit.
Son of a...
So it's just like GTA 5's, where you chase the Bigfoot and then you find out it's just a guy in a suit.
Spoiler. No, yeah, that's correct.
Whatever.
So Super Shark, well played, sir or ma'am.
I think that's the same shtick in Far Cry 5 too. Like I know they added,
my God.
they added a Bigfoot
Don't-
at some point.
Just take the defeat
I
graciously.
no, I
You know what game there's definitely not a Bigfoot in is good GTA 5 San Andreas. I mean, besides lots of games, San Andreas. That's always been that was the big myth, and it was like eventually debunked.
that there was a
It's like,
Bigfoot in there.
That there was
you
not.
If you would like to try and angrily stump this panel,
I
please
swear to God, there's a Bigfoot. In
I could have.
send your
I mean,
Xbox trivia
there's the
question.
Predator. It's got big feet, so like that counts a little bit,
So
right?
mad that we're tied in points now.
Unlock
I
at
know my
IGN.com. Note 4 multiple choice answers and tell me which one's the right answer.
Next week.
And we'll play next week.
In Ghost Recon.
Yeah.
No, it's a guy- just
Technically,
forget
it's
it.
a subspecies
Oh
of.
boy, here we go.
Is there a Bigfoot in America's Army?
So there's
Apparently.
There's got to be.
there's two gags they do in Ubisoft games. They either do Yeti or Bigfoot, and they did Yeti for Wildlands, I think.
They did Yeti.
There was a Yeti in
They did
Far
Yeti
Cry
for
4.
Far Cry 4.
Yeah.
They actually released a DLC, right?
Yeah.
Anyway,
All right.
there's
You got me.
There's that.
Nicely done.
Unlock block trivia. Destin's done.
What was his name? Super Shark?
Yes.
I'm going to keep my eye on you.
All of a sudden, you've been followed by.
Yeah.
Take us home. Mark Medina, what are you
Yes.
working on? Where can we follow you? It's
You can follow me on Twitter at Mark_Medina. I've been playing, dare I say, too much Spider-Man. It's finally reached this plateau where I love the game. I'm pretty done with it. I have the Platinum Trophy. So all weekend, because I played that all last week, I'm just going to talk about some games I played this weekend. I played a lot of 2 Point Hospital. Fun game. Really fun.
Yeah, I
I
heard
saw
good
a
things.
review of it, and I was like, okay.
It's like a
Pretty
simulation
fun.
thing, right? Like,
Yeah, it's
like you build a hospital.
top down. You build a hospital and you cure people, but it's like really funny because it's like somebody will come in with like lightheadedness and their head will be a light bulb, and like the thing to fix them is they unscrew it. But so it's like
It's dad jokes.
it's stuff. Yeah, it's
Okay.
stuff like that. If they have severe lightheadedness, like they'll have like police lights on their head and they're like flashing and stuff like that. So it's just like Prison Architect stuff like that. But it's a hospital and it's pretty fun.
Sounds good. Brandon?
I'm always unprepared for this. I'm working on just a bunch of Xbox stuff. Trying to think, whatever. Getting over the PAX plague, which was nice. Yeah, nothing really to report on right this second, but you can follow me on Twitter at Brennan Tyrell. We're gonna have a lot of interesting Xbox stuff coming up within the coming weeks. So
Excellent. Destin.
Yeah, I haven't really been playing anything.
Oh,
I've played roughly 60 hours of Destiny 2 Forsaken
In one
since
day.
Tuesday. Since Tuesday. I stream sometimes, and I hit uptime last night, and it's like, you've been streaming for 15 hours. And I'm like, dear God.
I need to take a
It's
shower.
really good. Yeah, it's really, really good. If you like Destiny 1, they've kind of revamped everything about it. And even if you have the base game, you can go see what new mechanics are like. Man, they address like everything. So
So you're happy?
I'm very happy with it. Even the storytelling's improved with the main campaign. They went a little darker, and yeah, I'm very happy with the state of Destiny.
your review is on IGN now, yes?
Yeah.
Is that the final?
So we're recording this now. No, final will come out after the raid, but I mean,
This is
it's everything but
everything
the raid.
but the raid.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm interested. I've been waiting for the Taken King of Destiny 2, and this sounds like it. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Cool.
And Gambit's really fun.
Cool.
Groovy.
Game mode, yeah.
Oh, also, Divinity Original Sin 2 Definitive Edition is on Xbox One. I reviewed it last week. It went up during PAX weekend, but I've been basically dead since then. So you should definitely go check out the review if you're unsure. But that game's real good, man. If you like RPGs, get it on Xbox. You're not going to be disappointed.
Fantastic. And I'm at DMC_Ryan. Again, I mentioned Unfiltered at the top of the show. It's Ted Price talking a lot of Sunset Overdrive. Could we get a sequel? Obviously, Spider-Man's in there. If you're playing Spider-Man, we talk about that. And yeah, the Forza Horizon 4 coverage coming on Wednesday. Look for that from me. So there you go. Thank you to the panel. Thanks to everybody watching and listening. And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.